Welcome everybody, and in this video I'm going to share with you how I think you can elevate your bird photography and keep inspired by shooting images with substance. Maybe you're like me and you've been photographing birds for a long time, and just taking kind of ordinary shots of birds on perches, for example, just don't quite get you as excited anymore. Or perhaps you're fairly new to photography and you just want to take something that's going to stand out from the crowd. Now, what do I actually mean when I say substance? Well, really I think it's anything that keeps you motivated, gets you excited, and ultimately makes you happy and satisfied with your resulting image. So for me, that often means some kind of behaviour. Maybe the bird's flapping its wings, maybe it's preening, scratching, or it could even just be a certain pose, maybe a head position, a wink, or just something a little different. There's a multitude of behaviour with so many different species out there, and interaction between birds as well. That's something I'm always looking for, just to lift my images. Or it could be down to the light, the way that you use the light creatively. Sometimes this can help to invoke a certain mood. It can highlight a certain aspect of a bird really well. And it's something I particularly really enjoy in my own bird photography. So how do we take these images that just have a little bit more meaning? Well, I think the most important thing is really spending more time with your subject. So if you're with a bird that's just been perched, it's not really doing much. If you wait long enough, the likelihood is that bird will eventually do something. Maybe it'll scratch itself, maybe it'll yawn. It could even simply be a more endearing pose. Now, the more time you're going to wait, the more likely you are to take advantage and get that better shot. So really it's a case of patience. Sometimes you might have to put in quite a lot of time, and you do need to learn to be patient. Now, for sure, anticipation can really help here. If you have an idea what the bird's going to do before it does it, it means you're going to be able to react quicker. So one example would be when a bird's about to take off. If you just watch the legs, you'll usually find that the bird's legs will bend as they go to push themselves off into flight. So if you watch that, you might get a nice takeoff shot. And another is simply ruffling of the feathers, which almost I think all birds will do at some point, and they may kind of lean forward before they do that. Also with ducks, another really good tell is that they'll usually stretch their neck up before they flap. So if you see that neck sort of stretching upwards, get ready, because the duck's probably about to flap. So the more you can anticipate the behaviour before it happens, the much more your chance you've got of actually photographing it. When it comes to using light, you'll probably need to do some scouting to find the best location for what you're trying to achieve. You'll need to know exactly where to be and when to be there, and you'll also need to understand the play of light in that particular situation. And whatever the situation, you always want to be ready for some kind of action. This can often be very fast, very fleeting, and you need to react quickly to make the most of it. Again, this is where knowing a bit more about the subject can come in, because you're able to anticipate behaviour, sometimes with different species that may interact together. So why does it matter taking pictures with more substance? Well, I think it really helps if you have something to strive for, striving for something different, something extra. It can really help keep you motivated. And when you do get that special image, that's just going to help to inspire you. And perhaps if you're just getting a little bit bored, maybe things are a little bit stale, it's just going to give you something extra to keep you interested and keep you going. Is that a black cap? It's a black cap, right? So I'm doing a bit of scouting today for songbirds and warblers and seeing what's about. So I think that's a black cap. I'm going to put up on the screen now just a few images that I've taken this spring, mostly in the last few weeks. And to me, they all have something a little bit extra, a little bit more meaning. This image of a robin was taken on a recent workshop with a couple, and it's just a robin doing what a robin does. One of the most distinctive things and recognisable things about the robin is, of course, its beautiful song, and it's just really nice to capture that personality. I love the fresh leaves here that are just coming out, and the soft backlighting highlights that really nicely in this image. Very simple image to take, taken with a 400mm lens, handheld. I really enjoyed photographing this male blackbird preening. This image was taken from a hide as I was making a video about woodpeckers, and just to get that natural behaviour is always really nice. This is something all birds need to do, preen, to keep their feathers in good condition. Again, having that surrounding of the buds, the fresh leaves, just giving that indication of the season. And with things like this, birds preening, you want to make sure you take quite a few shots. You can get quite a few different poses as the bird does preen. This male pheasant was very interesting indeed, came extremely close to me and then began to do its very distinctive display. Now this is something I've seen, but I've never really photographed properly before, and it was a really good opportunity, but very difficult because I was using a 500mm lens and I couldn't get any further back because I was in a hide, and I just had to make do the best I could. And anticipating this was incredibly hard. If you've photographed this, you'll probably know, but they do that little display so quickly, it's over so fast. Again, you kind of need to anticipate it before it happens. And this image of a male gadwall coming into land backlit is one of my favourite images of the spring, and probably one of my favourite images of the entire year so far. And this was just all about the light. It wasn't really about the subject. I had certain subjects in mind, but it was about trying to achieve quality backlighting against a dark background, and the mist that morning was just an absolute bonus. If you'd like to see a project that I did specifically on backlighting, then I've put a link in the description below this video. Now, most of those pictures are relatively close, but what do you do if you don't have a big lens? Well, if you have a smaller lens, like today I've got the 300mm lens with me, just something a little different. There's no reason you can't use that. What you can do is just take wider shots and use the environment more. So things like a 300, for example, actually tend to suit that fairly well. And just including more of the habitat can instantly give your picture more meaning, and sometimes it can actually be better than the close-ups. If you are taking on your own project to get certain types of images, then usually the only way to do that is simply putting in the time. But the added bonus of that is by putting in the time, perhaps waiting for hours on end, you're just likely to see so much more and learn so much more as well. So perhaps you'll find out there's a new bird species there that you've never seen before. Hopefully you'll see some brand new behaviour, and that can just help to spark new ideas as well. Wow, it's F18, it's that bright today. Wow, the sun's actually shining. So a question for today is, do you feel you take pictures with enough meaning, with enough substance, and do you have any ways that you help to keep yourself inspired with your own photography? Let me know in the comments box below. And if you'd like to do a bird photography workshop with me, if you feel like you'd benefit from learning in terms of being more creative, and even for complete beginners where we can look at all the best camera settings for you, details are in the link below in the description, and my email address is on the screen. You can just send me an email and we'll see what we can do together. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Something special and substance. Substance. Swans again. Oh, you must have seen that. You must have seen that on camera. I'm going to play it back.